Hey you guys, so I am doing a hashtag 13 witchy questions just for fun. I saw Raquel from the Barefoot Tourist do it this morning. Sorry, I'm like leaning on my chair. I'm at my standing desk and I fidget sometimes when I stand sometimes when I stand up, and like I don't want to like touch my desk because then it's gonna rock us everywhere. So I'm like trying to fidget differently. So if you hear random noises, I'm fidgeting with my chair. Okay, so this was originally done by Whispers of Three. I'm gonna link hers and Raquel's below, and there are 13 fun questions. Like I really didn't consider them before starting, so if I do a lot of I did not consider these. I saw them and I was like, this is fun, I'm gonna do it, and I just am doing it. Number 1, are you in or out of the broom closet? I am out. I'm not an advertiser, as in like, hey, this is what I am, this is what I do. However, like, I'm not going to lie. If you ask, I'll tell you kind of idea. I mean, like certain things, I mean, people who recognize, what some of my tattoos are kind of already know. But I feel like those are not the people who would have an issue with it anyway, although you do have the zealots that are like, these are the devil's things on your arms, like whatever. But nah, I'm not really in the broom closet. Now, there was a time that I would kind of skate over it. I would like try to make other people not feel uncomfortable, but at this point in my life, I really don't care about that now either. So you take me as I am, or you can leave. Like, I'm not gonna force you to like who I am or what I do. Number 2, what is your favorite tree? An oak tree. Plain and simple. Like, not even thinking about it. I've grown up around oak trees. They are some of my favorites. They're just massive. I have some in my front yard along my tree line. I have some in my mom's house that I like to say I still like to go and visit. I grew up around oak trees, and that's kind of my jam. Number 3, what is your favorite symbol or sigil? I really love the alchemical symbols. I love elemental symbols and you know, stuff like that. So I would definitely say anything kind of alchemical, I'm usually down to work with. As far as sigils are concerned, I really like to create my own. So those are constantly changing. I don't really have a favorite that I use because I shift and alter sigils. I don't really use like other sigils. I do like glyphs. Matter of fact, I have, you know, the glyph for understanding, but it can also be for the feminine, which is why I like it so much, because it has that double meaning. Other than that, like, those are my main things, right? Let's move on. Number 4, full moon or new moon? As much as I love the full moon, the new moon is where I am right now. And I think it's because I'm doing so much exploration of the dark right now that, like, the dark moon vibes are everything to me. I'm learning how to walk through the darkness. I'm learning how to look through the darkness. And I really feel like that's where my vibes are. But it changes. Right now, new moon. Number 5. If you were to become famous for something, what would it be? This is hard. You know, it's funny. When I was younger, I wanted to be famous. I was into acting and drama. I love the stage. I love to act any way, shape, or form. Put me in a costume. Allow me to wear a mask. And I was down. However, I feel like where I am right now, I'm in a totally different space. Like, I don't think if I was handed that life, I don't think I would take it. And here's why. As fun as it is to do that, and there are some characters in some instances where, yes, I would jump in and dive into these characters and put those masks on. However, where I'm at, like I said, right now, unless it was very, very specific, I wouldn't want it. Because I'm so down with like taking off the masks. I want to be able to be and live the most authentic way that I can. Yes, sometimes I may seem a little theatrical. That's in my blood. It's what I do. It's how I express myself on the day-to-day. If you think that this is a little extra sometimes, you should see me IRL. Yes, I talk with my hands. I know y'all see that all the time. But like when it comes to storytelling, when it comes to explaining a situation, like it's all or nothing. But this is not just from me. My granny, when I was young, I would always remember that, like her standing in the kitchen telling a story, and like there was banging and there were like hands and they were talking, and of course my dad and his parents and stuff, they all spoke in Cajun French on purpose for the kids not to listen. And like that's just how you tell a story. They talk to us that way. They told us stories that way. They talk to each other that way. So it's like, that's kind of like my genuine self, is to just be a little extra in the way that I speak and in the way that I talk. But that is me authentically, and I do try to tone it down a bit, and that's where I go wrong. I'm saying all this about being famous. Anyway, so if I was to become famous for something, what would it be? I would hope that it would be something like this. Being on my YouTube and like unmasking and going more towards my authentic self, and just kind of being famous for being who I am. That's really it. You know, for the things I create and the things that I do, maybe that's what I would be famous for. What is the very first crystal you ever got? I feel like I've had crystals when I was younger. I went to Arkansas when I was about 10 or 11, and I remember going into the rock shops, and I would like shove my hands in there and like go play with all the stones. Like that's like one of my main memories. I remember that. I remember cutting my tongue on a bottle cap because I wonder where my kid gets it. I'm like, she's always got shit in her mouth. I remember I had a bottle cap and I put it on my tongue, but obviously it was really, really small. It was from like a little water or whatever. So I'd like put it on my tongue and like straight up cut it. Being stupid, trying to suction it there. Anyway, I remember that. I remember the mermaid ceiling in a bathhouse, and I remember horses. But my main thing is, aside from that, you know, like my very first thing that I remember when I'd say Arkansas, that trip to Arkansas, was like shoving my hands in these crystals. I don't remember if I took any home. I don't remember which ones they would have been. But I do have one from that trip that either my grandma or my dad got. And I can't remember which one. But it's this huge piece of quartz. And that was from that trip, if I'm not mistaken. I found it shoved in, I don't remember, it was some kind of like pot or like a flower pot or something. It was like in the back in my dad's shop, and I'm like, this is mine now. I'm taking this. Like, you cannot mistreat this crystal. It's mine now. So that's from that same trip. So I guess you consider one of the first crystals I got. Some quartz. Okay. Moving on. Number 7. I'm getting wordy. Wow. All right. What is your favorite bug or critter? I like beetles. I'm not really down with bugs. So, beetles, moths. Critters in general, I really, lately, have been having a really, really big thing for any kind of winged creature. Birds of all sorts. Before I start coughing in everybody's face. And I still coughed. Okay. 8. Salem or New Orleans? Share your experience if you have been to either. I've never been to Salem. That is on my to-do list. I do want to make a trip. I would love to do that. In or around Samhain would be really nice. But I do want to go more towards the fall because I do want to experience the Northeast in the fall. So maybe Salem, but honestly, I feel like unless it's dramatic, I think I would still pick New Orleans. Reason being, I go to New Orleans quite often. I live maybe 3 hours away. So New Orleans is a regular trip for us. It's in our very core. The water runs through our veins. Reason being, I feel like I just know that place. From the time I was really young, you can put me in New Orleans and I can basically find my way around 95% of the time. I just feel like I know it. I've never studied. I've never, I don't know, mapped the streets out or this, that, and the other, but like there's something about being in New Orleans where like I'm like, I recognize this sign, I know this street name, we need to look for this street. Like for some reason, I just feel like I know it. And I've always been that way. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with maybe past life stuff. So there's something about New Orleans that you step into downtown and it just engulfs you with magic. You can't avoid it. You can't avoid the hauntedness. You can't avoid the spirit of the city. It's just there. I really don't know if there's any other place that's going to be able to do that. I'm always looking for that place. But right now, New Orleans holds that top spot. Number 9. Who was the very first person you watched on YouTube in the tarot witchy community? My first brush with the tarot witchy community was Molly Roberts. Her Speak. Ooh. Shit popping up. Her Speak, I believe, is what her channel is called, or it might be called Molly Roberts now. I don't know. Anyway, she's amazing. She's got this deep, raspy voice. She's got this like infectious personality that you just want to know more about her and you want to hear more from her. She like exudes this art magic from her very core, and I love to watch her. I still watch her. 10. Do you prefer spreads or freeform when doing tarot reading? Depends. It depends on a lot of things, but I do love a good freeform because sometimes I just like to pick up the cards and just see what it wants to tell me. Especially doing bigger readings, I really like some freeform stuff. Number 11. Do you have a ritual or routine you do before or during a tarot reading? I burn sage, or I cleanse the area. Other than that, I don't really have a ritual that I do while I'm doing tarot. Yeah, before, like I said, I like to cleanse my space. I like to have crystals around. Sometimes I will go through and like pick the exact ones I'm using for a certain reading if I'm doing something very specific, but otherwise I just kind of keep general stuff that helps with intuition, amplifying energy, because I read on energy when I read tarot. So I keep those kind of crystals around. Other than that, not really. Where am I at? Number 12. Are you a day or a night person? I used to be a day person. All day, every day. However, I swear I hit 30 and that light just switched. I much rather be one with the evening and night than with day to midday. Like morning to midday. You know, I'm definitely an afternoon to night. Last question. 13. Are you left-handed, right-handed, or ambidextrous? I am right-handed. true blue through and through. I am right-handed. So that's it, you guys. Those were really neat. They're really fun. If you're going to do them, be sure to use the hashtag because I really want to see everybody's answers for these. So thank you to Raquel. Thank you to Whispers of Three. And I will see you guys very soon. If you're looking for me, I got all my links at the bottom. And I will see you guys really soon. Bye.